Hello, uh, welcome to this channel, Think GS with Rajiv Raj. Hello everyone. Uh, See, if you are preparing for any government examination like UPSC, State PCS or SSC, this is this channel going to be help you with a lot in mastering the concepts like history, geography, polity, economics, science, current affairs for competitive exams. Here I simplify the concepts into simpler terms and share some example tricks and previous year question and memory techniques so that learning becomes easy and effective for you if you're preparing for any government exams, any entry level exams. Okay. So without any delay, we can start the lecture number 3, that is the basic concepts of polity. Here we can discuss about what do you mean. There is an important concept here. What do you mean by constitutionalism? Constitutionalism. See, if I discuss it in a simpler terms, imagine there is a cricket match is playing here. Okay, there is a cricket match is playing here. Okay, here there is a rule that this match is going to be for 20 overs. That is, each team plays 20 overs and scored how many runs. That is depend on the team. And in order to win the match, we have to par that score. Okay, 20 overs. There will be 11 batsmen here. Okay, this is the rule. But star player Virat Kohli is playing here. Okay, and used this name so that the concept is hit your mind directly. Okay, because Virat Kohli is itself famous. Okay, because the star player Virat Kohli is playing here. It's a hypothetical situation. Virat Kohli is a very gentle player. Let's say the hypothetical situation here. Virat Kohli is wanted to bat for 25 overs. Virat Kohli say, I am the best batsman in the world. I wanted to bat for 25 overs. But there is a rule that match is be 20 overs. But Virat Kohli say, I am batted for 25 overs. If I am getting out, I will get another chance to bat. If I am out, I am getting another chance. I am getting another chance to bat. Once again. The peoples are gathered here to watch Virat Kohli so that Virat Kohli take the advantage of the situation and he can say, I am bat for the 25 overs. If I am getting out, I am get another chance. And bowlers, and Virat Kohli decided that the bowlers will bowl spin to me for 12 overs so that I hit extra long sixes. So that I hit extra sixes. So in a nutshell, I am trying to explain that rule is that cricket is of 20 overs, 11 batsmen is playing here. But Virat Kohli is a star player. He decided that I am batted for 25 overs. If I am getting out, I would get another chance. And spin bowling has to be more so that I hit extra long sixes. People are gathered to see Virat Kohli. That's why people are not agitated and they see what Virat Kohli wants to do, he wants to do. But after that, fans get bored. But what is exactly like? It is not the spirit of cricket. It is against the spirit of cricket. It is against what? It is against the spirit of cricket. Okay. Because these things are not usually in cricket. This is the against the spirit of cricket. Mark my word. Against the spirit of cricket. Okay. Then they decided that BCCI should be intervened. BCCI should be intervened and made a strict rule. So that every batsman has to be followed that rule. Okay. BCCI should be intervened and made a rule so that every batsman need to be followed that rule. Okay. And that's the day when Virat Kohli also limited by what? Limited by BCCI. Limited by BCCI rules. Now Virat Kohli has to maintain that rules, otherwise he's got disqualified from the team. Okay. So the story is that I'm explaining it in Hindi in a better and faster manner. Okay. एक टीम था जो कि 20 ओवर के लिए खेल रहे थे. विराट कोहली आए, वो बोले कि नहीं, मैं 25 ओवर खेलूंगा, मैं वर्ल्ड का बेस्ट बैट्समैन हूँ. अगर मैं एक बार आउट होता हूँ तो दूसरी बार मुझे चांस मिलेगा खेलने के लिए, और स्पिनर मुझे ज़्यादा डालेंगे क्योंकि मैं स्पिनर में ज़्यादा कंफर्टेबल हूँ, सो दैट आई कैन हिट एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग सिक्स. फैन गेट बोर्ड, फैन बोरिंग हो गए, कुछ दिन देखे लेकिन उसके बाद बोरिंग हो गए और बोले कि ये तो अगेंस्ट स्पिरिट ऑफ क्रिकेट है, लेट्स बीसीसीआई इंटरवीन इट एंड मेक द न्यू लॉ फॉर इट. सो बीसीसीआई इंटरवीन हुए और वो न्यू लॉ बनाए. न्यू लॉ बनाए कि 20 ओवर का क्रिकेट होगा, ये होगा, ये होगा, वो सब रूल बनाए. सो विराट कोहली नाउ स्टिक टू दैट रूल, अदरवाइज ही गेट एलिमिनेटेड. सो माय concept is that, my whole key concept is that here the cricket rule book which is prepared by BCCI is what? It's the constitution. Okay. But, and here the cricket ground is our country. The people, or we can say the fans, are the citizens. Here Virat Kohli is the most powerful people existed in country. And the main concept lies here, and the obeying the rules by the players, even if it is Virat Kohli, it's what? It's the constitutionalism. Would you get my point or not? I can say जो रूल बुक बीसीसीआई ने बनाए वो था क्या? हमारा कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. क्रिकेट ग्राउंड जहाँ पे खेला जा रहा था वो है हमारा कंट्री. जो मोस्ट पावरफुल पीपुल है जैसे विराट कोहली, वो है क्या? द मोस्ट पावरफुल पीपुल एग्जिस्टेड इन आवर कंट्री. और जो वहाँ पे फैंस थे, जो भी वहाँ पे लोग थे, वो है हमारे सिटीजन्स. और जो रूल माना गया, वो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन जो बनाया गया था, वो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को मानने के लिए जो रूल बनाए गए, और उसे रूल को जो हम ओबे कर रहे हैं, उसे हम बोल रहे हैं कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनलिज्म. सो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनलिज्म again is an intangible thing. You can say in lecture number 1 that nation is an intangible thing. So here constitutionalism again is an intangible thing. So, intangible means we cannot touch it, we have to feel it, and we can perceive it in our thoughts. Okay, this is the constitutionalism. Constitutionalism means what? Now the rules made by the constitutions must be obeyed by the citizens of the country, and most powerful people, or you can say the government, is limited by the rules, or you can say there is no arbitrariness. Exist here. Okay, so constitutionalism in itself, we can say from that example that Virat Kohli must obey the rules in the cricket ground. Here you can say the government or the most powerful people must obey the rules followed by the constitutions. This is what you can say the constitutionalism. Constitutionalism in itself means the arbitrary actions by the government which must be limited. This is the one-liner definition. If in the MCQ it is asked, what do you mean by constitutionalism? What do you mean by constitutionalism? So one would answer that limited government by the constitution or by the rule of law. Limited government by the rule of law. Limited government means the government, that means the most powerful peoples are also limited by the constitutions, by the rule of law. Here and there is no arbitrary actions by the government. गवर्नमेंट चाहे तो कुछ भी कर सकती है, लेकिन यहाँ पे नहीं हो सकता है. We have to follow the constitutionalism, and constitutionalism is very much rigidly follow in our constitutions. In our Indian constitutions, there is a doctrine said, basic structure of doctrine, that is itself the constitutionalism in a strict manner. हम ये कह सकते हैं बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ डॉक्ट्रिन क्या है, हम एक वर्ड में बोल सकते हैं कि कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का जो एसेंस है उसे बिगाड़ नहीं सकते हैं. गवर्नमेंट ये आर्बिटरी नहीं कर सकती है. गवर्नमेंट ये मतलब अपने लाइक फैंस के मुताबिक नहीं कर सकते हैं. देयर मस्ट बी in a proposed manner, in legislation manner, that must be hold the people's ideology, that must be reflect the aspirations of the peoples, reflect the aspiration of the society, reflect the aspirations of the political thinkers at that time from the constitutions. Okay, that's it. That is the basic meaning of basic structure of doctrine. What you can say. So constitutionalism is limited government by the constitution, and there is no arbitrary power given by them. Okay, so this is the concept all about constitutionalism, and what do you mean by constitution you already know about. Okay, now we can say, now we can go to the slide so that we can you are better comfortable with that. Okay, go to the slide. Say see constitutionalism is here. Okay, see constitutionalism by definition is what? Is the principle that government must operate according to the constitution. I can say the government is must operate, government is must be followed by the constitution. No individual, like in the case of cricket, that is Virat Kohli, including those in power, like in case of cricket we can say the Virat Kohli example, is above the law. No individual is above the law. This is means by the constitution. That means the rule of law is limited the government, limited the government's power. Ensures rule of law, I can already explain to you that protection of rights and accountability. Key features is what? Limitation of government powers, the government power must be limited, protection of individual rights, separation of powers, and checks and balances. Separation of power and checks and balances means if the executive become the arbitrariness, then legislative have to be handled it. If the legislative have to be arbitrariness, then the judiciary have to be handled it. If both the executive and legislative have been arbitrariness, then judiciary have to be intervened. So executive, legislative, and judiciary must be there is some check and balance between them. Okay, this is the separation of powers and checks and balances, protection of individually limited government power. See, these pictures are very much familiar to our Indian constitution. Okay, limitation of government powers, we can say the rightly I am explained here, that is the doctrine of basic structure. Protection of individual rights, that is the fundamental rights here, the fundamental duties here, the part 3 of the Indian constitution from 12 to 35. Yes, 12 to 35. Separation of power and checks and balances, these are also separation of powers from financial administration, checks and balances, these are things. Example, Indian judicial review ensure law violating fundamental rights are struck down. USA Congress cannot pass law violating the constitutions. UK even the Prime Minister must follow constitutional convention. These are some examples. In the later classes I can say what is the judicial law, what is the Congress, what is the violating of constitution, these are things, but this is example is here so that we can know that India, USA, UK, these are followed strictly the constitutionalism, that is the limited government by the rule of law. Okay, so this is all about the constitutionalism. Okay, here it is another mini concept, that is the government. Government here already said that who frames the rule of law, who will be limited by the constitution is the government. So government is the organization who set the rule of law, who set the law and order, who said what how a police station work, how a hospital run, how a school works. So this is the government is the organization machinery through which a state implement law, polity, and administration the country. Work within the limit of the constitution. I already explained that the most powerful people or the government is works within the limit of the constitution. Key function is that legislation making laws, executive implementing the laws, and judiciary, if there is any dispute, then resolve the dispute by the judiciary itself. So key function of the government is what? The three organs, that is the executive, that is the legislative, and judiciary. See, you are know about the executive, legislative, what to mean by executive, legislative, judiciary, because that knowing the ABC of the policy, we cannot dive into the deeper of these topics. From my point of view, these are the basic concepts. From your point of view, if the executive, legislative, judiciary are difficult to understand, then you must follow the initiative, the 6 to 12 cases. Okay. See, legislation who making the law, in simple words, legislation who making the laws, that is the parliament. executive who implementing the law, that is the president, prime minister, these are the executive. And adjudication, if there is any resolving dispute, then judiciary have to intervene it in order to solve that disputes. Okay, so executive, legislative, and judiciary, these are the key functions by the government. And government is limited by whom? If there is an MCQ, government is limited by whom? Constitution, law and order, people, nation. What is the correct? Constitution is the correct, because law and order is framed by the government itself. People are to be governed by the government itself. Nation, if there is no nation, there is no government. Okay? So the correct answer is Constitution itself. Okay. Another concept is that what do you mean by written constitutions and unwritten constitutions? Okay. See, one more concept here. What do you mean by written constitution? What do you mean by unwritten constitutions? See, in case of written constitution and unwritten constitution, let's again hypothetical example of the cricket. Okay, I am variously taking, anonymously taking the cricket example because we know we are very much feeling connected to the cricket itself. So that I am taking these examples so you can betterly understand from the cricket point of view. Okay, see, if there is a rule that rule of book, match having 20 overs, 4 over each by the bowler, maximum 4 overs can be bowled by one bowler. Okay, 20 over having match, maximum 4 over by one bowler, 11 batsmen have to be bat, 11 batsmen bat. Umpire decision is the final decision. See, in our childhood, if you have to be print some features of a cricket match, definitely this point have to be noted. This point is the very much important because this is the rule of the cricket, right? Umpire decision is the final decision. It is marked out by every cricketers in our childhood. Okay, so if there is a rule that 20 overs must be followed, 4 maximum overs by the one, batsmen have to be 11 batsmen, there is no last man standing, there is no last batsman, that is there is duo batsman, that is a duo pair. Okay, now umpire decision is the final decision. And there is another cricket match but there is no rule. Any batsman can came in any order. One bowler can bowl 20 overs. The last man can be bat. There is no umpires here. Okay. So these rules are not be here. There is no rule written here. So these are the hypothetical conditions that these are must be followed. Let's say one bowler is Mitchell Starc is playing here. Mitchell Starc said, I have to bowl 20 overs. Okay. So chaos will be there. Batsman will be get out within a score of 100 because Mitchell Starc is a death over specialist bowler. So that is this is against the rule. If say one batsman can bat along 20 overs after getting out, so Virat Kohli must be batting all the 20 overs he can get. So I can say if there is no rule here, so any of the assumption can be bad. Okay. So in order to make the rules strict, in order to make the rules to be followed, there is the written rule book here. There is a written rule book here, and that written rule book, in case of country is, what? Written constitution. Here there is no rule is written, so in case of this is unwritten constitution. So this is the written constitutions. So this is the written constitutions, and this is the unwritten constitutions. Okay. Here the rule of law are established. Here the rule of law are explained easily. All these things are explained. Here not all the things are existed. Okay. So what is the better government? Where is the government can be ruled in a much smoother way? In case of a constitution, in case of a unwritten constitution, there is no rule codified here. There is no rule of law codified here. So maybe there is arbitrariness. So these things exist in real in case of India. These things existed in UK, New Zealand. Okay. So here, why this question arises here? How the UK, being a most populous or most dignified country, is the problem. Also, the North cricket is arised here. UK, having no written constitutions, existed. No, without being a written constitution, how the country existed here? Here is the catch. Because UK having some strict law by 4 pillars, by the Act of Parliament itself. See, if a country having unwritten constitution, we must be prepare some rules in other way by bifurcating from the constitution so that the country runs smoothly. So UK having the unwritten constitution by history itself, we cannot change the history. So that they made the Act of Parliament. Some rules are by convention. By convention में चलते आ रहा है, ठीक है, जो रूल है वो चलते आ रहा है. जैसे आप डिसाइड करते हैं कि हम फेयरवेल देंगे अपने सीनियर को, कोविड का साल आया, हम फेयरवेल नहीं दे पाए सीनियर को, तो ये बाय कन्वेंशन चलते आ रहा है. कभी कभी खिलाफ भी हो सकते हैं, लेकिन बाय कन्वेंशन ही चलते आ रहा है. सो बाय कन्वेंशन का कुछ रूल है जो भी स्ट्रिक्टली फॉलो किया जाता है. एक्ट ऑफ पार्लियामेंट है, एक्ट ऑफ स्टैट्यूट्स बाय द पार्लियामेंट है, उसमें भी वो चला जाता है by the act of parliament, by the convention itself, and by some constitutional provisions are also be there. So in this way, UK runs smoothly. In this way, New Zealand also runs smoothly, despite being the unwritten constitutions. Would you get my point or not? These things are clear to you. Now I can share the slide, so things are getting much more better to you. Okay, see the slide. The written constitution is itself in which all rules, powers, and principles are codified in a single and set of official document. I can say the rule of book like in the cricket, all principles are codified in a single set of official document. Characteristics is rigid or flexible depending on the amendment procedure. Accessible to all clear defined structures and citizen rights. For example, India, USA, Japan, South Africa, these things are followed the written constitution. Unwritten constitution is a constitution that is not codified in a single document, but existed in form of law, convention, judicial decision, and customs. Okay. Characteristic is flexible, evolves with time, relies on tradition and practices. You can say that now how the unwritten constitution country runs by evolves with time, by convention, by traditional and practices. Example, United Kingdom and New Zealand. Now, for your doubt, I have also written how unwritten constitutions are still in the UK and New Zealand. Even if there is no codified document in the UK, there is 4 pillars. I can say discuss already the statutes and act of parliament. What is that? Is the parliament makes some law and statutes that had to be followed by the UK. A legally binding law passed by the legislature. Example, UK Bill of Right, Parliament Act, New Zealand Electoral Act. Okay. By convention, that is the चलते आ रहा है जो convention, that is the by following a traditional practices. Like what is the conventional practice? The UK Prime Minister, जो UK Prime Minister है, it must be the leader of the majority party. It must be the leader of what? The majority party itself in House of the Commons. जैसे कि हमारे यहाँ होता है लोकसभा राज्यसभा, जैसे यूके में होता है हाउस ऑफ लॉर्ड्स एंड हाउस ऑफ कॉमन्स. सो यूके के जो प्राइम मिनिस्टर है, ही मस्ट बी द लीडर ऑफ द मेजॉरिटी पार्टी. Is there any law behind it? No, there is no law behind it. Is there any rule behind it? No, there is no rule behind it. It is by what? It is by the convention, because it is the unwritten constitution we can discuss here. So by the convention, by the statute and act of parliament, by the judicial decision, some of the judiciary is also strengthened here, so that court interrupt statute and convention, creating precedent that guide future governments. In order to guide the future governance, देखिए एक तो रिटेन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन अगर बना लेते तो ये सब स्पेस नहीं करना पड़ता. बट there's the history lies itself. When you discuss about the Indian history, you can say that Pakistan not to be bifurcated from India, but you cannot stop that. Pakistan is bifurcated from India. Like in what? In UK, there is no written constitution is there, so they make what? Save the citizens in future by what? By the act of parliament they prepare some law, by the convention they prepare some law, by the judicial decision they get some law. Example, UK government interpret limits on royal powers of parliamentary privileges. Then there is some authority text customs who can depict that how the country works and how the good governance works and how these things are. So this is the unwritten constitution in the UK and New Zealand, how they sustain without being a constitutional law. Okay. See, another one is that now we can you are very much comfortable with that what do you mean by constitution, what do you mean by constitutionalism, what do you mean by written constitution, what do you mean by unwritten constitutions, what do you mean by constitutional government, unconstitutional. So these things are not clear to you. Now there is just a small topic, what do you mean by constitutional government and what do you mean by non-constitutional government. Constitutional government itself means which having a constitutions. Non-constitutional means which does not have a constitutions. Okay. Constitutional means a government whose powers are limited by the constitutions. A government whose powers are limited by the constitution. That means here constitutionalism has existed. It was according to the law and order, protect citizen right and ensure accountability. Example is India. Okay, here government powers limited by the constitution. Non-constitutional government means, see, when you can say the non-constitutional government, see, there is a thin line difference between non-constitutional government and unwritten constitutions. In case of unwritten constitutions, it might be a constitutional government or non, or in case of unwritten constitutions, it must be a government which is governed by rule of law, by act of parliament, by convention, by judiciary, by some authority text. Okay, but in case of non-constitutional government, you can say non means what? The constitution is absent here, so that in a government where the rulers exercise their powers without legal limits, so there is no constitution is present here, and there is no, if the constitution is not present, so where the constitutionalism is present, so the constitutionalism is absent and the constitution is itself absent, so that the rule of law or the government is having excess power, having excess legal limit, so that after right of citizen. Example is what? Now Nazi Germany under Hitler, there is no constitution. Hitler, what is the word of mouth came from Hitler? That is being the constitution. So, okay, totalitarian, no legal checks and power, absolute monarchy in Saudi Arabia. The king has near the total control. Okay, Afghanistan under Taliban is also after the military coup of the Afghanistan under Taliban, no formal constitution limiting the rules powers. Okay. So this is the difference between constitutional government and non-constitutional government. Here's the thin line difference between the is limited by the constitution. We can say here the constitutionalism present, here the constitution is present. Constitutional government और नॉन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल गवर्नमेंट में ये डिफरेंस है कि कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल गवर्नमेंट को लिमिटेड बाय द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन है, लेकिन जो नॉन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल गवर्नमेंट है वो अनलिमिटेड है, वो आर्बिट्ररी है. यहाँ पे कोई कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन नहीं है. यहाँ पे जो गवर्नमेंट है उसके पास एक्सेस लीगल राइट्स है, उसके पास वो जो चाहे वो सब कुछ कर सकता है. जैसे कि एब्सोल्यूट मोनार्की जो वो राजवट दिखा जाता है सऊदी अरेबिया में, जो नाजी रूल था हिटलर के टाइम में, वो भी हो सकता है. अफगानिस्तान अंडर नाउ तालिबान आफ्टर द मिलिटरी coup, जो मिलिटरी coup हुआ था, जो बदलाव हुए थे, तो ये भी आता है नॉन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल गवर्नमेंट है. सो सिटीजन राइट्स आर व्हाट? Here the citizen rights are protected by law because here there the constitution exists. There the constitutionalism exists, so they're protected by law because government is here limited, so that it's protected by law. But where the rulers have unlimited legal rights, unlimited rights, in this way the citizen rights are ignored, citizen rights are violated. अकाउंटेबिलिटी आप देखें, यहाँ पे तो अकाउंटेबिलिटी होगा, यहाँ पे अकाउंटेबिलिटी कुछ नहीं होगा क्योंकि यहाँ पे एक्सेस लीगल राइट्स हैं गवर्नमेंट के पास. सो देयर इज नो फॉर्मल अकाउंटेबिलिटी. अगर लोग मर गए तो देयर इज नो केस, अगर कुछ हो गया देयर इज नो केस, देयर इज नो फॉर्मल अकाउंटेबिलिटी हियर बिकॉज हियर देयर इज सम जुडिशियरी, देयर इज लेजिस्लेचर, देयर एग्जीक्यूटिव, देयर सिटीजन स्टेबिलिटी. और हियर द स्टेबिलिटी इज प्रेडिक्टेबल बिकॉज यहाँ पे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनलिज्म है, लोग रूल को मान के चलते हैं. सो देयर इज प्रेडिक्टेबल एंड फेयर बिकॉज यहाँ पे केओटिक अनस्टेबल है. ठीक है, एग्जाम्पल इंडिया, यूएसए, यूके, various countries have constitutional government, but there is no non-constitutional government like Nazi, absolute monarchies, Taliban, Afghanistan. These are some non-constitutional government. Okay. After that, we can discuss the various forms of government. This is part of the various forms of government we can discuss in the other lectures. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you for